George, congratulations. It's a volatile market, so the pop in the stock is welcome. What made you decide, given all of the issues, a lingering trade war between the U.S. and China, for example, that now was the right time to go public?
Well, I think at CrowdStrike, we really focused on going public when we were ready. And from our perspective, we've always taken a long-term view. And today is one day where we raised a financing round, and we're going to continue to focus on the future. So I think we should look back at today and celebrate it. But tomorrow we're back at it and focusing on customer success and preventing breaches for large and small companies around the globe.
How much are you following what's happening globally, and how much exposure do you have to China?
We don't really sell in China, so that hasn't really affected us. I think from a China perspective, we typically see a lot of activity around geopolitical tensions, and that activity tends to manifest itself in cyber attacks. So with some of this unrest, we continue to see nation-state attacks. And again, why we started the company was to really help organizations around the globe prevent against these determined adversaries and nation-state actors.
Well, and certainly what's happening with the U.S.-China trade war is impacting U.S. companies. The cybersecurity landscape continues to change. The threat landscape continues to change. How do you stay competitive in an ever-changing world?
Well, a big part of our success has been the fact that we've really built a cloud platform. And in security, there really hasn't been a security cloud. If you think about ServiceNow, Workday, and Salesforce, there's been no equivalent platform company. Part of our overall approach has been to collect a lot of endpoint data, security threat information that's driven a lot of the artificial intelligence algorithms that we have. And the more data we consume, the smarter our technology tends to get in identifying breaches that have never been seen before. So that's a big part of the overall story, and I think what we focused on is really that platform approach as opposed to building yet another point product, and that's resonated well with our customers.
So what are the biggest trends you see on the horizon, given that we're going into the heat of the U.S. election season, and the last U.S. election was most certainly not secure?
Well, whether it's elections, whether it's intellectual property theft, or whether it's destruction from ransomware, these are all cyber threats that organizations of all shapes and sizes actually have to deal with. I think what it does underscore is just how vulnerable companies are, organizations are, non-government organizations to these sort of cyber attacks. And unfortunately, they've been burdened with legacy technology that has been incapable of identifying these breaches. And again, that's part of what we really focused on, is building technology not only to stop malware, but the broader issue is actually stopping breaches.
So what trends are you seeing in company decision making? Are companies rising to this rising threat? Are they as protected as they should be, or are they more broadly still very vulnerable?
I think more broadly, they're still very vulnerable. And unfortunately, there's a tapestry of security products that they've been using in the past that, again, haven't given them the visibility or the protection that they need. From an awareness perspective, the good news is boards of directors are taking this very seriously. This is a board issue, a risk issue. And when you look at some of the attacks that we've seen a few years back, like NotPetya and WannaCry, where ransomware literally took companies off the map for many weeks and in some cases months on end, it moved from just purely being infected to, wow, this can be a systemic risk for our corporation. Worst case, they're spending hundreds of millions of dollars in trying to recover their company and bring them back to health.
Meantime, we reported that Cisco held talks with CrowdStrike about a possible deal about 6 months ago. The deal didn't happen. Why did you decide that the right course was staying independent?
Well, I can't comment on rumors, but our goal has always been to be an independent company, and I think we've built the company, we've operated it as if it was a public company when we were private, and I think our growth and our financials are, again, of the size and scale of what a public company should be. So we went public when we wanted to, and I think we've seen a warm reception today from institutional investors.